Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy. I'm not sure if you can see the clock behind me, and if you can, it looks like it's backwards. 5:31 in the morning. We're still a little bit dark outside, starting to get to a little bit lighter over here. Got a 2.5 hour drive in front of me. I hope to you all view this because we got ourselves a nice little haul video. Got a bunch of stuff down over here. I don't want to show any addresses, but those right there all have to go out. So I have to run over to Mr. Magazine's first thing this morning. Yesterday I did have a Whatnot. Do check me out on Whatnot, Papergoy. Did well, or well enough for me. I'm happy. But I want to get that stuff out because, again, customer service is really the way to go. So always remember that. And we'll be doing a video about this at some point as well. But now with sales slumping, customer service is more important than ever. And that's one reason why I'm going to make an extra trip out of my way, even though it's going the wrong way, in order to get my Whatnot sales and my eBay sales and Amazon sales out immediately so the buyers get them very, very quickly because I want them to come back. Money is getting tight out there right now. Sales are down. Go that extra step for your buyers. It's definitely worth doing. It's inconvenient for me, but I don't care. I have to do it, and it's important for my customers. So hopefully you'll be seeing this going over to Madison, Bouckville. They have the big show in August where I meet up with Primetime Treasure Hunter, a good friend of the channel. Check him out if you haven't already. I believe I'll be meeting up with him again next, this coming August. But I'm heading over there now. They have a smaller show, a couple of tents. We did a haul video about it last year as well. So hopefully we'll be doing a haul video today, and you'll see the great treasures I have. So wish me luck. 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. Bunch of time invested. Hopefully get a lot of good bargains. Another little insider tip. I'm going to make sure I grab a whole bunch of my business cards before I head on out. And as I said on the live show, check it out, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Wednesdays. I'm going to be passing it out like Halloween candy to any dealer, because the dealers that are there today will also be there in a month and a half. Well, if they know that I'm looking for stuff or that I'm a serious buyer and I hand them my business card, who knows? They're not that far away, generally speaking. They're only a couple of hours away, so I could always make special trips, all that kind of stuff. But one very, very important thing you got to do is if you're in the business, get your name out there. Regularly let people know I'm buying, and don't negotiate too much on the price if it's a fair price to start with, because they'll remember that, and they'll say, hey, Papergoy came in, I had a box of magazines, I wanted 50 bucks on it. He handed me 50 bucks. He didn't, downplay the value of the magazines. He didn't say, look at the condition. He didn't say, well, you take 35. He just paid me $50 and carried it off to his car. He's a great guy to deal with versus these other people that hem and haw, and I never know if they're going to take it. So that's definitely an insider tip. If you're looking to buy things, work with the people. They're trying to make a buck. They're, generally speaking, they leave enough room on the table or, meat on the bone for you to make some money as well. So we'll see you in a little while. I'll probably do a couple of videos right from the show, and then we'll do the deep dive after. And we're back. I didn't take any footage at the show, primarily because I had to carry my own boxes. Tried to get somebody to go with me. Papergoy, he's over in Cleveland. Couldn't make it up, although he'll be coming to the August show, so you'll see him on camera at that point. Mrs. Papergoy, she had to work, so she wasn't able to make it. And Random Neighborhood Kid has finals for school, and he needs to pass them to graduate. And believe it or not, he thought that was more important than schlepping stuff around an antique show. Kids these days. So came back, though, and wanted to give a deep dive into the things that I bought. Was it worth going all the way over there? Probably not. But I did have time to burn from work, and you never know. I did give a couple of people my business card. They'll be showing up in August. One of the people goes to a local flea market, so I'll be seeing him out over there. Had fun, saw a bunch of dealers that I knew. I picked up a bunch of stuff. Why don't we get right into the stuff that I ended up buying? First thing, picked up something or other for Mr. Magazine. Maybe he'll actually hit the like button, which you should definitely do. Picked this up for him, and I stole this. It's a comforter, $10 for this. Definitely old. I have no idea really what it cost. It's probably a $50 to $75 piece if I had to guess. But it was sitting out there for $10. Definitely old. It's got, Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo and everybody on it. So that was a really good deal for that, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it. You'll be able to stay warm at the warehouse. Do check out the warehouse videos if you haven't seen those already. A few other things that I ended up picking up. A couple of tips. First tip, don't be afraid to ask people to leave things at their table. I asked the gentleman to leave this at his table and this at his table. This is heavy as anything. I need to work out, I think. This was only $10. It's from 1910 or thereabouts. Syracuse Supply Company, but it's got great graphics in here. Grinding machines and that. It's got a little bit of waviness up along the top, and the binding is kind of broken on it. But still, something rather like this, I paid $10 for it. Jeez, I mean, you can name your price on it. A couple $100 certainly on that. I'll probably end up getting $75 to $125, but I'm going to ask a couple $100 on it and then take less on it. But again, I left this at the guy's table because I didn't want to walk around carrying this. So you learn that over time. Another little insider tip, be very careful with the bags, because the bags aren't always the strongest. And I kind of noticed that stuff was starting to come out, so I had to like change the way I was carrying them, because I really didn't want to buy all this stuff and have the bags break all over the place. So be careful with the bags. A few other things that I bought some comic books. Primetime, hopefully he made it out there as well, because there's some good comics out there. Westerns generally are not good. Bonanza is the exception. So if you have a chance to buy those, great photo covers on them on Bonanza. Another one that I picked up with a great photo cover is Annette, because of Annette Funicello. She's always popular. And this one was interesting. Spaceman Discovers Christmas. I have never seen that one at all. It's probably, I don't know, I would think it's probably done by like a local, no, doesn't even say who did it. Or, yep, Wyckoff Sears, Stroudsburg, PA, Newton, New Jersey. So yep, that was indeed a giveaway comic from back in the day. Patsy Walker, DC War comic. And Three Stooges. So picked those all up. Did buy these, and the person gave me a little bit of a break on them. You definitely want to buy these things if you do see them out there. The Hunter Trader Trapper magazines from 1930, 1927. They wanted $3 each, and I bought 7 of them, and they charged me for 6. So they said, these are fresh from my house. And I go, well, they're fresh going into my house. So they were happy to move them. Definitely can sell these for $25 to $30 a magazine. These end up going for. So very happy to see those. A couple of other things that I bought over here. Really didn't buy that much this time. Did really well on these. Paid $5 for the pair. 1906, and I believe this is a similar time. Metropolitan Opera House and Carnegie Hall. This gives the season, the program for the season, telling everything that's going to come in for the year. These are good. I don't know how much off the top of my head. Gonna have to do some research, but I would guess these are $40 to $50 a piece. I would definitely believe that they're in that ballpark. So I did notice when I'm out there, I'm buying fewer things, but I'm buying things that are selling better, but I'm also paying more than I usually would. Usually, years past, I'd be paying $1 each on stuff. You know, I would not have paid $10 for that. I would not have bought some of the comics that I bought. I would not have bought this, for example. Except that's not what I was looking for. I would not have bought this, for example. This was $10. Not in the greatest of shape. It does have a tear here and a crease across along the wear up over here. But the second I saw it, I said, I think that looks like Maxfield Parrish. And sure enough, right down here at the bottom, it says Maxfield Parrish. The gentleman knew what it was, and he said, I need $10 out of it that's got Maxfield Parrish on the cover. I said, well, yes, it does. He's not as popular or as hot as he used to be. You used to be able to, you probably could have gotten $75 to $100 for something like this. I'm still saying this is a $40 to $50 magazine anyway because of Maxfield Parrish. So, and again, years ago, I would not have invested the $10 in it because I would have said, no. Now I'm saying, hey, I put 10 into it and get 40 to 50 out of it fairly quickly because people do collect Maxfield Parrish. I do collect Classics Illustrated comic books. I have never seen a hardcover deluxe edition. Now, the person wanted $5 on it, but I have never seen this before. No idea whatsoever. But, in fact, I just saw it, and if I hadn't seen the Classics Illustrated down in the corner, I would not have purchased it. So, do look for this out there. It's something or other that I have never seen before, and I collect them. So I'll be doing a bunch of research into it and figuring it out, and yet more things that I can buy for myself. Woohoo! Don't tell Mrs. Papergoy that I bought. Oh, she's filming. Baby, remember how you said that you really love Platinum Age comic books? I ended up picking these up over here. And these are comic books. What they do is they have collections of the comic strips inside of them. Bringing out Father, Mutt, and Jeff. They did a lot of different ones like this. You'll find them out there. They're worth in decent shape. And these are actually fairly decent shape for what they are. I mean, they've got some wear, but you almost never see these really, really nice. They're worth $40 to $50 a piece if you can find them out there. Occasionally you can find them. They're getting harder and harder to find for $10 to $15. They're getting really hard to find. I paid a little more than that for these, but I do collect them, so we're going to put these into the collection, which makes Mrs. Papergoy very, very happy, I'm certain. Oh, that is a big smile on her face. A few other things that I picked up over here. You always she's laughing back there. The Charter Times. Never guess what I paid for them. The guy ended up giving me a deal on them. It's actually the Carter Times. He wrote it wrong. But what these are is, these are paint. And early paint things, these are from the teens and the 20s. Early paint things always sell. And these will sell very, very quickly. I'll probably get 15 bucks a piece out of these. I'll ask 25 a piece. I'll probably get $15 a piece out of them, but they'll sell fairly quickly. I forget what he charged me on all 5 of them. Oh, he didn't give me a discount on these, but he gave me a discount on the books. So that was what ended up happening on that. But always look for paint things. And I want to give a shout out to Papergoy. He's the one that told me about these kind of things in the first place, because he had found in the garage of his house a bunch of old paint things with like you pick up at the hardware store that would show the different kinds of paint on them. And those things actually do sell, and he had sold them back 20-some years ago, you know, at $10 to $15 a piece. And I said, people pay for that? Kind of the same look I get now when I tell people what sells. So people do collect paint. It's got that over there. It's got advertisements inside about the paint. So definitely, I tell you it does, and I can't even open the right page. So definitely want to pick up things like this when you see them out there. Another thing, I don't know how much people out there know. I'm going to give you another little insider tip. On this comic book over here, that is what they call the comic code. The comic code came out in the mid-1950s because they were worried that kids were being misled by the stories about drugs and scantily clad women, etc., and that it was ruining kids. So, long story short, there ended up being the code being put in place in order the comics could stay on the market. These are Golden Age comics. These are what they call pre-code. Now, one quick thing, you'll notice that even though these are from the 60s, these do not have a comic code on it. Dell Comics did not sign up with the comic code. They said, we put out clean comics on our own. We do not need to be part of the code. They were still able to do it. However, if you see comics that do not have the code that are older, they're pre-code comics, and you want to pick up the crime ones, because some of the crime ones are lurid and worth some pretty good money. And I ended up picking up a few of these. I stepped up to the plate and buying them, but they're kind of neat to have, and I collect Joe Palooka for whatever reason. Atlas Comics, old one, another one there, True Crime headline, and then an Airboy Comics. But again, that's a little insider tip. If you do get a chance, obviously everybody wants the superheroes, but the next best things to get in general are the True Crime comics from pre-code, because those tend to be pretty lurid. Last couple of things I ended up buying. Another thing for my collection, a guy wanted $1 each on them and said, look, take the whole pile for $2. I have no idea where they're from whatsoever. They were obviously published by somebody. They're all big stars. They obviously were taped up somewhere. Got to be mid-70s, because Rusty Staub is with the Expos. But for $2, I figured I would take it, add it to the collection, and at some point we'll figure out what that is. And the last thing that I ended up buying here, yearbooks. Now, generally speaking, you can pick up yearbooks for $1 a piece, and they're long tail items. I wouldn't generally say you should do it. One reason why you shouldn't do it, this is heavy. That's probably the reason why the bag got broken. However, for $2, I did pick this up, and the main reason why is because it's a major university, Syracuse University. People do collect the major universities, and I don't know who graduated that year, 1946, but what you do is you go on Wikipedia, you do a little bit of search, you do a search on the famous alumni, and for all you know, there could be somebody really famous in here. I've sold a Willard Scott's yearbook, as a matter of fact. That went for like $90 back in the day. And I've got a Dick Clark yearbook sitting in a basement that I've got to get around to listing at some point or other. So for $2, you do want to pick up the major colleges. 1946, there's going to be somebody good in there. Always go for the sports area first. And then sometimes there are famous actors and actresses and that sort of thing. So hopefully that helps you some. Do hit the like button. Again, probably was not worth the drive out there overall. Other than the smile that Mrs. Papergoy got on her face when we finally got that Mutt and Jeff comic that we've been waiting for years. That's not a very nice smile there. Hit the like button, and we will see you next video.